What up, people? It's your boy, Master Trudy, out here with another comic review. So we got Joker slash Harley Criminal Sanity. I've been seeing this going around, but it's basically another Black Label DC book. And this one, it's not bad, but it's different. It's a very, very, very different take on Harley. It's a very unique take on Harley, where you know I guess they don't want to make her out to be insane, at least not yet in this new series, but more so of a regular human being, like a PI in a way that's kind of been forced into it, which I think is a different, arduous, but unique take on it. And it works, but then it kind of doesn't work in some ways, but I'll probably get into it. So, Cami Garcia is the writer, and Miko Suyon and Mike Mayhew are the artists. Mind you, they're two different art styles in this. So we see that Harley Quinn at the police station, and she's at Jim Gordon, and she's here basically giving her take on psychopaths, that they're predators, and that apex predators eat sleep, and that they're tigers to society. They have the same primal urge to kill, and psychopaths have the advantage over the rest of us. They aren't burned by guilt or remorse. They only hunt. And so she's looking at a case. She's with Jim Gordon, who's still here, who's still commissioner of police, yada yada yada, and in there discussing like a murder case, and we see that there's this man who's been sawed in half. She pretty much says that every crime scene tells a story, basically detective work. So she basically says that a gang member wouldn't leave this behind, and she's basically, it seems like she's working with Jim on cold cases, basically, and you know. Basically, 5 years ago, the Joker killed somebody, a friend of hers, and she doesn't want to let it go. And apparently, Edie is her wife, so that's I guess interesting as well. But kind of played it off. But they go through these flashbacks with these computerized, artistic, pretty much these 3D computerized artworks right here. So Chinese, she sees Edie, and of course this is the Joker's calling card smile. Her neck has been slit, she's been bound, and then she's been left on in a tub full of water. Cops come, give her the usual spiel. What's a surgical procedure, and basically she's saying that, look, 5 years and you've come up with nothing, so I'm going to do it myself. And that's how she's going to do. But it's odd because she seems to be a nurse, but she's like a psychologist, a forensic psychoanalyst, whatnot. But here's the thing, like, I don't give a shit if you're a genius or you graduated from high school at 12, Harley. That isn't your real name. That is your real name. So I graduated at 14, and if you came coming again, I'm on the chief how many cases of your cases I solved. And he's like, F you. So, this is not needed per se, but there we go. But she still has kind of like the Harley snark, as it were. But I do appreciate the black and white art because it does give it a noir feel. So of course she's been going around, training herself, trying to, prepare herself to find the Joker, which is interesting. Nothing has been all consuming, lives by herself, nothing but notes, nothing but case files. That's all she does. Goes through case files. Then apparently he basically finds Mick Kelly as a widower, father drunk, and a small town contract killer for Sullivan's crime family. The guy was an all around loser. He was also the Joker's first known victim. So he finds out more about Mick Kelly. She then ties him to this waitress, Gina Baker, at the butcher's block. So she heads up there. Everybody's having a drink. So she asks for a cup of coffee, and she wanted to talk with her. And she's Dr. Harley Quinn. I'm a profiler assisting the police with the Mick Kelly investigation. And then she's like, told the cops everything I know. And can you tell me anything about him? Did you know about his son, John? It's like, Mick seemed like a half-decent guy. His wife, Julia, died. Well, what do I know? I haven't made the best choices. After Julie was gone, Mick changed. Or maybe he was an asshole the whole time and just stopped hiding it. So we get back to past more of this computerized thing. We see Mick at a store, at a pawn shop, um, with his son and his wife. Julia bought him some Wayne stuff, and they're just there. And we see that the police believe that bank robbers are members of the Falcone. They just witnessed a robbery. The Batman's in pursuit. The son looks at his father, and that. So as they were going around, of course, the mob comes, and they're about to strong arm him, and he kind of tells his wife to take John home, and we just see that basically the Batman comes in, and there's a crash. The accident comes in. The car careens out. Then John manages to get saved, and basically, in long story short, mother died. Mick comes, seems to be angry, and everything like that. Then pretty much it mentions that Mick went downhill from there. He beat the shit out of John all the time. Excuse my language. Sorry about that. They said, did anyone else in the building hear John screaming? John never would make a sound. It was Mick. By the time John was in high school, he seemed used to it. Between you and me, I wasn't even sorry when I heard Mick was dead. He got what was coming. We still don't know what happened to John. One theory is that he was killed too. So they think that, could John be the Joker? As it implies here. I bet John got home, found his dad's body. He took off before the cops showed up and dragged him off to a group home. I would have done the same thing. Gotta get back to my tables. So she leaves the card. She gets a text from Jim. They're at the cemetery. And, he says, I didn't want to process the crime scene until you got here, so let me see what you got. So basically, what's interesting is that Harley is more of Jim's Batman consultant. Like, you would see that, okay, I'm leaving the crime scene for Batman. Now I'm going to leave the crime scene for Harley. So we have this. This is where, this is a little bit too Criminal Minds for my taste at times. But, you see a body that's kind of like pretty, it's like the Leonardo da Vinci, Anatomy of Man, basically. Says that it shows a high degree of psychopathy. This isn't the subject's first kill. There's a level of ritual. It's like we don't need it. And this guy Maddox is saying we don't need her cheapskate, cult murder or whatever like this. And did you take his art history at school, Maddox? Do I look like a pussy? Okay, and pretty much ignorant dude. Blah 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 blah. Is just for filling it out. That's like, but anyway, he's like saying this is Leonardo's Vitruvian Man. Gordon and Essen will have to explain it to you. I have another class to teach. So out of all of this time of trying to help the police do this and do that, she's teaching at a university about she's teaching, what is it? I think academy people about psychopathy and everything like that. Being depraved doesn't necessarily mean one is psychotic. Psychosis involves a break with reality. Yada, yada, yada. We get more explanation. And she brings up examples about previous butchers and killers, so on and so forth, about their methods and their motives and their state of mind, basically. It's like, and basically, we see that this man is coming up to Harley saying that, look, I've studied the Joker murders. I'm not a cop or anything. I'm more of an aficionado, self-educated expert. I have to go. But he's more like her than she's willing to admit. It's like, what was it like to find the body? I read that you were the one who discovered it. I've seen a lot of dead bodies. Maybe you'd like to become part of a crime scene. Still curious? Okay, tough guy act. Yada, yada, yada. Then we see this guy in a hoodie, of course. He was probably attending the class. This is probably the Joker, of course. And then we see that there's another murder. And we see that, there's another murder, basically. And it's like somebody's watching us, and then the end is kind of ambiguous. And then we just see Jim Gordon have pretty much turned her as a profile. She's intrigued by the level of care of this new details. And yeah, so this is a very slow burn. Black Label, not bad. Mm. So, what can I say about this? I'll give it to Black Label for trying new things, new stories. It's definitely not bad, but it's definitely very much for TV. Very much for TV. Harley's new portrayal is not bad. It makes her more human. It makes her interesting. She's more of a cop now, for lack of a better term. Um, it's good that she. I guess the difference between this and her and the Harleen one that I reviewed last week was that there was more complexity to Harleen in that issue as opposed to Harley in this one. It's clear that it's going to be a cat and mouse thing, though. What could change my mind is how they handle her and Joker's, um, of course, inevitable crossing of the paths. But I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10. Wasn't There's some good things about it. Artwork's pretty nice. The computer generation thing kind of jars you out, but it's supposed to for a flashback. Um, I'd give it a read. So thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notifications. Make sure you're notified. Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people, because I want to discuss good comics and get your views on them. Thank y'all for watching. I hope to have more videos up when I can. Peace.